Good morning and welcome everybody. My name is Felicitas Biwer and in the following 10 minutes I will present to you my PhD proposal, which is called Improving Students' Learning Strategies in Higher Education. And before I go into detail about the research, I would like to introduce my wonderful research team. I'm supervised by Mirjam Oude-Egbrink, Annick de Bruin and Paulina Alten. And on the right side, you can see me. Before I came to Maastricht, I studied psychology with a specialization in educational psychology at Freiburg University in Germany. And during my studies, I spent a lot of time in the library studying, and mostly I reread texts, highlighted the most important parts, and also summarized the lectures I wanted to learn. And these strategies, so reading, highlighting, and summarizing, are also the most common used strategies by students. But are they also the most effective ones? And exactly this question was asked by Dynlowski and his colleagues. They examined the effect on long-term learning of the 10 most commonly used learning strategies, which are easy to use and applicable in a broad range of contexts. And as you can already see in this table, rereading, summarizing, and highlighting are situated in the bottom part of this table, so showing that they actually don't have a lot of evidence, or actually no evidence, on their effects on long-term learning. The most effective strategies, they rely on basic principles of active retrieval from memory. So this is practice testing, also known as self-testing. And distributing study sessions over time. So this is called distributed practice or spaced practice. And so this shows there's actually a discrepancy between the evidence-based strategies and the learning strategies that are used by students. And what are the reasons for this? So first, there's a lack of formal training in effective learning strategies. When students enter the university, they are faced with the challenge of self-regulating their learning. And especially in these active learning environments, such as the problem-based learning here at Maastricht University, students have to prepare for tutorial meetings by themselves during the self-study phase, but they're actually not trained how to do so. So they have low metacognitive knowledge about effective learning strategies. So that means they don't know a lot about what are effective learning strategies, how can I use them, and also in which contexts. And even though some students might have heard about the effect of practice testing, for example, there's an insufficient transfer to the self-study. So due to a lack of time, or that the strategies are perceived as too effortful, or students can't see the benefits of the strategies in the given situation, they struggle to transfer this knowledge to self-study phase. And this leads to the main aims of my research project. First, I want to examine how can we improve students' use of effective learning strategies during the self-study. And second, I would like to investigate the mediators and barriers in the application of learning strategies during the self-study phase. And I'm not alone in this. Based on the need for incorporating a learning strategy training, Maastricht University's Institute for Educational Innovation, that's ADLAB, they developed already a learning strategy training called Study Smart. And around this training, I will build my 4 studies, and I will evaluate the effects of this training in my 4 studies. The first version of the Study Smart training consists of 3 sessions. The first session is called Awareness, and it creates awareness about effective learning strategies and desirable difficulties. In the second session, students reflect about their own learning strategies and set goals for themselves. And then in the third session, students actually practice one effective and one ineffective strategy, and they experience then the effort and the effectiveness of the learning strategy in the session. So here you can see the conceptual framework of my study, and I will guide you through my 4 studies and the 4 research questions I want to explore. So in the first study, I will address the question, can students' metacognitive knowledge and use of effective learning strategies be enhanced by a formal training? So this is the Study Smart training. And in an explanatory mixed method design, we will randomly assign 60 first and second year students from the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences to either attend the training during the 5th block period or to a waiting list control group which attends the training during the 6th block period. And then we will measure students' metacognitive knowledge using questionnaires and situation-based vignettes in a pre-test and a post-test. And then we use a weekly learning strategy survey as a process measure of their learning strategy use. And then after this initial study period, we will further explore the mediators and barriers of students' use of these learning strategies in focus group interviews then during the 6th block period. And then based on the results and insights we got from study 1, we will adapt the training. And then in study 2, we want to examine what are the long-term effects of the training on student study behavior and what factors influence the application of effective learning strategies during self-study. So we will implement or try to implement the training in a curriculum and then investigate the effect with around 200 students. So implemented training throughout the first year over several months, so to see what are the effects also on students' academic performance measured by post-block exam scores and tutor evaluations. Then in the third study, we want to focus more on the self-regulated application of the learning strategies during the self-study phase and address the question, how do students actually monitor and control the application of learning strategies? And to answer these questions, we aim to use ecological momentary assessment, also known as experience sampling method. So this is a measure that measures over time, in real time, by using smartphones as electronic diaries, and then asking students about their actual learning behavior, their emotions, during the self-study. So what are they actually doing during this time to better understand how do they monitor and regulate their learning strategies, and to understand what are the difficulties the students might run into. And then in the fourth study, we want to take the context of problem-based learning more into focus again. And examine what role can the tutorial meetings play in supporting the transfer of metacognitive knowledge to the self-study phase. So the self-study phase is embedded between the pre-discussion and the post-discussion, so the tutorial meetings. And so to what extent can maybe the tutor also support and scaffold the effective learning strategies that are addressed in this training, for example, by providing examples or reminders, or by using practice testing in a post-discussion. Yes, so these are the ideas so far in my project. And based on the results we aim to get from study 1 and the insights we will gain there, ideas and plans may change. So I am very happy and open to hear your questions and suggestions, and I would like to thank you for your attention.